the Event Technology Spotlight Podcast. I'm Katie from EventDex by Nextech3D.ai, and in our last episode, we explored how blockchain ticketing is reshaping event security, unlocking new revenue streams, and strengthening our AI-first event ecosystem. Today, we'll be continuing that story, but from a little bit different angle. Because while technology like AI and blockchain build our foundation, the future of events is ultimately about engagement, experience, and human connection. That's why today's episode is such an important milestone for Nextech. We're diving into the acquisition of KraftyLab, a global leader in AI-powered experiential and team engagement solutions, and how this move expands our platform from infrastructure and security into enterprise-scale engagement. Joining me today to break down the strategy and impact is our CEO, Evan Gappelberg. Evan, welcome once again.
Thanks. Great to be back, Katie.
So, Evan, I want to start with the big picture. Why KraftyLab, and why was this the right acquisition at this time?
Well, it's a great question, and you really need to take a step back and look at the big picture. The global events industry is a $1.5 trillion market, which is quite shocking. I didn't realize it was that big, actually, till recently, right? That's big. And it's growing. It's not shrinking. I remember COVID, the whole events industry shut down during 2020, 2021, but it's now back with a vengeance. And what's driving that growth is something a lot of people miss. The more digital, and everybody's on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and now AI is becoming a bigger and bigger deal, and AI is really driving the world. The more humans crave real connection, and that's exactly what you get at Nextech, KraftyLabs, EventDex, MapD. All of our platforms drive that human interaction, and AI is a tool that we use to automate workflows, content, and decision making, but it can't replicate human interaction, the human culture, and shared experiences. In fact, AI is amplifying the need for those things. People feel more disconnected today than ever, and that's what's driving a lot of these events to be attended by record-breaking attendance numbers. And so KraftyLab sits right at that intersection. They're built for enterprise grade, human-centered engagement, delivers their product globally. We just announced today that we're delivering to Sao Paulo, Brazil, and it's enhanced by AI. So as AI adoption accelerates everywhere else, demand for high quality in-person and experiential engagement is actually increasing. And that's where KraftyLab shines. That's where our business shines. So from my perspective, the timing is perfect because enterprises are now actively reallocating budgets towards engagement, culture, leadership, and connection at scale.
That's super exciting. I love that we're bringing more human engagement into this industry.
Yeah.
And speaking of, for listeners who may be new to KraftyLab, what exactly are they bringing to the Nextech 3D AI ecosystem?
Yeah. Before we even jump into that, it's funny how we now use the word human a lot more. I'm finding myself saying the word, us humans. There's a divide that's forming between AI and humans, and we don't realize it, but it's slowly just kind of creeping into our vernacular. We're just constantly, I find myself saying like, yeah, it's AI, but you got to have a human. It's kind of weird,
Absolutely.
right? It's so weird, but
That's
to
why we're
answer,
doing this, you and me, people to people.
exactly. You're human, I'm human, and the people listening hopefully are human too. So, but to answer your question, Katie, Crafty Labs, what does it bring to the Nextech ecosystem? Quite simply, it's the enterprise engagement engine for Nextech. First, Crafty's 100% enterprise focused. This is not small company focused. It's not even mid company. It's not consumer. These are large organizations, the global giants, all the brand names that, all the listeners know, Netflix, Oracle, Google, Meta, Microsoft, General Motors, Spotify, HubSpot, ZoomInfo, eBay, Amazon. These are all of Crafty's customers. These are all of Nextech's existing customers. It's a who's who of corporate America. And so when you think about that, that's, a big deal for us. And that's what Crafty brings to us. Second, if you think about, Crafty, um, Crafty builds outcomes, not activities. You might look at Crafty Labs and say, oh, it's like, I don't get it. Like candle making, cookie decorating, chocolate, truffle making,
All very important
mixology.
in the corporate world.
Yeah, mixology, right? Like, I don't get it. Well, I understand why you might not get it, but if you take a step back and you think about people, back to the human equation, what do we remember from our day? It's not the spreadsheet. It's the phone call we had. It's the human interaction. It's that conversation we had at lunch, with our coworker. It's the human piece that we remember during the day. Otherwise, if you don't have that human connection, every day turns into a grind. And what ends up happening is people burn out. And what ends up happening is they quit. And so the Crafty Labs, value prop is that it's designed to drive collaboration, alignment with cultures, and ultimately these things keep employees happy, keep them, working at companies and engaged, and people start to form friendships because of what Crafty brings to the table. And that actually is hugely, hugely important. Big companies realize this, and there's really no way. It's like, think about this for a minute. When you were growing up, when I was growing up, we always worked in school all day, but then you had recess, right? And
Everyone's favorite class.
everyone's favorite activity, recess. What was recess? Kids playing with kids, forming bonds, right? Learning. Well, in corporate America, there is no recess. And so kids grow up into adults. When do they get to know other employees? When do you have that recess? Well, that's what Crafty is. Actually, maybe we should call it the Crafty recess instead of Crafty Labs, right? Because it really is like that moment where people get to uh, really engage with other people and form connections. And so that's actually very, very valuable in corporate America. And so when you combined, AI, which plays a massive role in what Crafty does, it uses AI to personalize, the experience, and to help manage and scale the platform. But ultimately, from Nextech's perspective, when you combine Crafty Labs with EventDex, with MapD, with our AI, and even our 3D modeling capabilities, we're no longer just an event tech company. We're delivering a full enterprise engagement platform end to end. And we're going to be offering more. We're going to extend the platform even further. We're going to announce
Wow.
that soon. I'm not going to announce it here, but it's coming very soon. By the time we do our next podcast, there'll be even more things that the Crafty platform will offer for its enterprise customers.
That's amazing. Now I'm really curious what we're going to be putting out in the world, especially with this new people first and connection approach. So my next question for you is how does this acquisition, excuse me, impact Nextech from a growth and revenue perspective?
This is where it gets really exciting. Crafty Labs fundamentally changes our deal profile. we're moving from single event or point solution conversations into enterprise relationships. Enterprise is big, let's just be clear. Enterprise is the Googles, the Metas, the Microsoft, big companies. They don't think in terms of one event. I mean, they just can't. They have hundreds of thousands of employees spread across the globe. They think in terms of annual programs, global rollouts, multi-year engagement strategies. It drives a much, much larger deal size and much, much more predictable revenue for Crafty. And so we're actively talking to over 200 of our existing customers over the coming weeks, many of whom are already in our ecosystem asking for an enterprise solution. So we're layering that enterprise engagement on top of our existing platform, and we're closing higher deals. We just announced a tier one enterprise deal today, February 3rd, and we're anticipating just a tidal wave of enterprise deals throughout 2026 because that's what enterprise wants. So give the customer what they want. Right, Katie?
Absolutely. And that's our goal, really transforming the event industry with a customer first approach. Now, speaking of those customers, should we expect any changes?
I mean, for our customers, the only change is that they get a one-stop shop, one unified partner. Instead of our customers having to go to multiple vendors, we're really marketing ourselves as that one-stop platform instead of juggling registration, analytics, engagement, experiences across multiple vendors. Our one platform is going to do it all. And I want to underline the word globally. It's no small feat to be able to have a global footprint where you extend into different time zones. That's not easy to do, different languages. And so we're actually one of a very, very few, elite few companies that actually have this. And we see this as a big differentiator. And it ultimately means for our customers that they get better data, better outcomes, less friction. And for enterprises that are operating with hybrid and distributed teams across the globe, it's incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. I see this being really inclusive and addressing all of our clients' employees. So moving forward, we have talked about AI, blockchain, 3D, and in this experiential engagement. How does CraftyLab fit into Nextech's long-term vision?
Well, our long-term vision, and when we say long-term, we're talking multi-year, is
Mhm.
to build the world's most comprehensive AI-powered event and engagement operating system. What is an operating system? Well, when you go into Google Chrome or Safari or Firefox, whatever you know, operating system that you might use, or if you're using some kind of software, there's all these modules in there. And you click on a module and it takes you deeper in and you're able to deploy, whatever's in that particular module. And that's really what we're building at Crafty is this ability to have an operating system for the event industry. And I don't think anybody's built that yet. And AI really gives us the intelligence and the personalization. Blockchain, which we are in that space, gives us trust, security, and transparency. The 3D modeling gives us a spatial awareness and visualization. So you can imagine if a corporation's launching, let's say, a new product, it could be a new MacBook or any new product, and you want to share it across continents. Instead of shipping it, we could create a 3D model, and you can have multiple teams across the globe scan a QR code on screen, and have that 3D model in their office all across the globe, but simultaneously giving feedback. Those are things unique to Nextech, and from our perspective, it's a human experience at scale. So what's important, Katie, to understand is that AI doesn't reduce the importance of events; it increases it. As work becomes more automated and remote, events become that glue that holds teams, cultures, and organizations together. So we're building that platform that powers the future which includes AI and includes humans, hopefully.
I hope we're still around for it. Otherwise,
Yeah,
our long-term vision doesn't mean too much, but I'm excited to play that out and see where this goes in the future.
yeah, me too.
And Evan, speaking of excited, it's time for our rapid fire round. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, give me one word to describe KraftyLab's impact.
Transformational.
Amazing. And the biggest opportunity this will unlock?
Enterprise engagement at global scale.
Massive. And what excites you the most
Hmm.
with KraftyLab?
With Crafty. Combining advanced tech, that's the AI, with humans, with that human connection, and doing it for the world's largest enterprise companies.
I think this will be a really great endeavor. So, this acquisition will clearly show how Nextech is evolving beyond our event infrastructure into a full AI powered and human integrated engagement platform.
That's exactly right, Katie. The event industry is growing 1.5 trillion and still chugging. The enterprise demand is accelerating for us in a big way. The AI is actually driving more need for human interaction. So every time you read something about I want you to think about Crafty Labs and like, hey, that just puts the wind's just blowing stronger and stronger at our back, which is very unique because a lot of companies are under threat. In fact, for us, it puts us, right at the center of that trend. And from my perspective, we're just getting started.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Evan. And for our audience, too, this is just the next chapter. I think there's so much more innovation ahead for us. And on that, thank you for listening, everyone who has been a part of this, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Event Technology Spotlight, where we'll continue exploring how AI is shaping the future of events and engagement.
Thank you, Kate.